Hello, you are watching the latest edition of DBE TV News. Thank you for watching this bulletin every Friday on the DBE TV channel 122 on OpenView at 12 p.m. and on the Department of Basic Education's YouTube channel. Please do share the link with your friends, family, and anyone in your circles. Welcome. I am Tsehohajo Moagi. In our top stories this week, quality assurance body Umalusi celebrates 20 years since its inception. Minister Angie Motshekga, together with the National Education Collaboration Trust, launched the 1 Million Storybooks campaign in Mpumalanga. The Second Chance program has been extended to those living with disabilities. Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga has thanked and congratulated quality assurance body Umalusi for the work they have done for the past 20 years. She was speaking during the celebratory dinner in Pretoria. Those in attendance included the CEO of Umalusi, Dr. Mafu Rakometsi, and Dr. Rufus Polia, the Chief Director for National Assessment and Public Examinations at the Department of Basic Education. Minister Motshekga said the 20-year celebration is a significant moment for the organization.
I really want to thank you in advance, knowing that you will contribute your expertise to the noble cause of maintaining a robust basic education and training system in our country. Returning to the 20th anniversary celebration, I want again to congratulate Umalusi, the caretaker of one of the nation's most treasured assets, the standards of general and further education and training, for the resilience over the last 20 years. So the 20th century is a significant moment in the history of any organization. Indeed, from its humble beginnings, Umalusi has grown to be a recognized brand in the basic and post-school education sector in our country. Since its establishment in 2001, 7 years just after democratic changes, Umalusi has significantly contributed towards improving the quality of our education and training system. It has always provided us with advice on the setting, the measure, assessment, and tracking educational standards within the context of a diverse, unequal society of our country.
The minister went on to speak about the relationship the department has with Umalusi, reassuring the organization that they are trusted for the work they do.
And I've always found missing in the debate is that standardization of exam results is an international practice used to mitigate effects of factors other than learners' knowledge and aptitude on the learner's performance. To date, I'm not aware of any research that has been done to prove that there is something fishy about Umalusi's standardization process. So even ourselves as services, we're taking our chances when we complain, but we do complain a lot. Make no mistake. It's one of those stressful moments when I meet with MSs when we really have to look at what Umalusi has said. We truly are indebted to the efforts of Umalusi Assessment Standards Committee of Council for putting so much effort in their work. And we know that members sacrifice their valuable time to ensure that Umalusi remains a trusted authority in fostering high education standards in general and further education and training over years.
The Basic Education Department, together with the Presidency, has urged young people between 18 and 34 to take up opportunities in the basic education sector. The project is entering its fourth phase with the advertisement of over 200,000 job opportunities. The pre-application window began on the 5th of September and will run until the 16th of October 2022. This will give every young person who meets the criteria 6 weeks to place their application in a fair and open system. Within the 6 weeks, the first 3 weeks are for the young people to prepare themselves by gathering all documents and information required. The applications officially open for all young South Africans from the 26th of September 2022 and will close on the 16th of October. This provides the youth of South Africa 3 weeks to place their application on sayouth.mobi. The Gauteng Education Department has urged learners of Dr. Mulifi School of Specialization to take advantage of the opportunities presented to them. The school specializes in maths, science and ICT with a focus on renewable energy and climate change. According to the department, the Dr. Mulifi Maths, Science and ICT School of Specialization is a true example of a school of the future, and it summarizes the department's vision to ensure that learners have access to specialized, modern, relevant, dynamic and responsive curriculum that is an alternative to the traditional academic curriculum and prioritizes critical skill areas. This is part of preparing the system for the full-scale implementation of the 3 streams model.
But the reason why we have come here, firstly, is to tell you that we love you. Thank you very much. But 2, we want you to know that the future is in your hands. It can't be in anybody's hands. And you know this school we pride ourselves with, because Memma Tobane and the teachers of this school have actually put this school in the map. I looked at the results Saskolosena, and we used the matric result because everybody else in the country uses the matric results. And when we looked at the matric results of last year and the years before, we noted that this school performs way above 90%. We want to get 100%, but doing over 90% is good enough. Can we give our hands a round of applause for that performance that we're getting here?
Meanwhile, the Gauteng Education Portfolio Committee Chairperson, Matume Chilwane, encouraged learners to always support each other.
It's very important that you are here and we are very happy. So all we are going to do now is to wish you all the best and hopefully the 100%, in fact it's not a dream, 100% matric pass rate is a reality for Dr. Mulifi Olifant. Can we expect it? Yes. Matriculants, batemu? Lo pasa kaofela ke. For you to do the chancellor Katani, you must make sure all of fang, you must make sure lamlata. Everybody must be in school from now until, and you must ensure that to support each other. We want 100%, 94% is a step in the right direction, but 100% is what we expect from this school.
Now let's take a listen to what some of the learners have had to say and also have a look at the work that they've done.
I want FET learners to have access to past exam papers without them having to download different links. And then the advantages of using the examination bank is that it is offline. So here you are looking at the exam bank. A user needs to register. It then shows different grades. Let's say, for instance, you are in grade 12. You are looking for the subject of mathematics in 2021. You are looking for the November exams, paper 1. It will then show an offline copy of the past exam paper.
We have created a project called Water Pump. With this project, when the soil is dry, the microbit will contact the water pump to pour water in it. And when it is finally moist, the microbit will show a happy face and the water pump will stop pouring water.
We have decided to make a project called a digital microbit guitar. This guitar, we've made it using cardboard, foil, crocodile clips and a microbit. The purpose behind this guitar is to give digital music and entertainment. The advantages of the guitar is that you can code a tone and melody of your own choice using the microbit code app. So let me demonstrate. Then I'll press hold the crown pin, and then for the first song I'll press the pins.
Stay tuned. After the break, we are in Mpumalanga for the 1 million Storybook project launch.
Everyone has their own definition of what education is and means. What is yours? TED is a show that seeks to challenge the status quo by inviting guests that have a role and an inspiring story to tell about their journey in education.
A lot of it is not learner-centered.
This show seeks to dive in deeper conversations in quest of answering the big question, why education when there's so much to do outside of it? Why invest energy and resources that are so impactful in our society?
You're seeing a cartoon character that looks like you counting to 10.
This show airs on DBE TV channel 122. In case you miss it, binge watch it on YouTube, DBE TV. And also don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms, simply DBE TV.
Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga has thanked the National Education Collaboration Trust for books donated to schools in order to promote reading. Motshekga was speaking during the 1 million school books campaign launch in KwaMhlanga in Mpumalanga. The 1 million storybooks project aims to provide high-quality foundation phase stories in African languages with the goal to address the shortage of reading resources for pleasure in indigenous languages. The collaboration with the NECT has seen the development of 189 book titles for learners in the foundation phase. In addition, the collaboration will see the distribution of books to over 8,000 primary schools in more than 400 circuits identified for support through the National Reading Coalition. Motshekga urged principals to ensure there is a reading schedule in their school for learners and to make reading fashionable again.
We're bringing materials, they don't mean anything at all if those materials are not going to be used. And they're going to be used if the principal has a reading program, it's followed up, it's monitored, it's supported, and we make reading fashionable. That's what I'm asking principals. We can talk about the value of reading, we can talk about the importance of books, but if those books are going to stay in boxes, it's just not very helpful. And I'm not saying this because I disrespect principals. I've seen it happen in most schools. I've found books stuck in the principal's office, not opened. I found schools where there's no reading plan. I found many principals that and they couldn't. And I was asking myself, if these kids can't do the basic, what have they been doing the past 4 years in school? What have we been doing with them? So I'm appealing with all the humility to principals to say, here's an offer, here's a book. Let's set targets to say grade 3. They must complete so many stories, make it fashionable. Let's have programs. Let's get kids even to read to each other.
The Mpumalanga Education HOD says it is important for learners to be able to read in their mother tongue. The Provincial Education Department has vowed to keep the reading light on throughout the province.
Abathengisako incwadi abazibhala isiNdebele ngoba bathi abazifundako bancane, so akuna profit kakhulu. So la umbuso ungena khona nalaba abasizayo bangena khona kumele siphakamise ulimi lesekhaya, ilimi lesiNdebele. Siyathokoza kakhulu kumakhosi ngoba sibambisane kahle nabo. Ngikhumbula minister ku last year uMEC bekabiziwe ngapha amakhosi akhuluma ngokufundiswa kwesiNdebele esikoleni ukuthi kunendawo la isiNdebele singafundiswa khona. Siyathemba ukuthi lejima elilotshwa lana eMpumalanga namuhla lizawenza ukuthi zonke indawo la kukhona abantu abakhuluma ulwimi lekhethu, mangikhuluma ngelimi lekhethu mhlambe ngithi abakhuluma amalimi wekhethu.
The Western Cape Education Department hosted the Coding and Robotics and Technology Interprovincial Meeting at the Cape Teaching and Leadership Institute in Kells River. The Basic Education Department has piloted the coding and robotics curriculum in grades R to 3 during 2020 and in grades 4 to 6 during 2021. The last phase of piloting is being conducted in grades 7 to 9 this year. This forms part of the 3 streams model, gradually being introduced in the school curriculum. With this model, the department believes it would provide differentiated offerings to learners and respond to the skills needed for the changing world. Betty Smith from the KZN province gave details of some of the successes of the coding and robotics in the province.
We've commenced orientating the teachers for full implementation next year as mandated by DBE. That for us is a huge success. The provincial rollout strategy is really effective and it's supported by all stakeholders. That's where the beginning of success starts. In our project management team, we have all stakeholders represented, including unions as well, and we have districts involved. Mr. Manzi being one of those on the PT team. We have all the districts' CESs from GET in the project management team, so it's working. District training teams, we orientated them. We conducted a 5-day capacity building session, as I've indicated. Then we checked their readiness for them to roll out through the dry run. Chairperson, and then collaboration with HAIs, we are just moving from strength to strength. Mancosa had us, for a whole day at their campus. They wanted the subject advisors and ourselves there at their campus for them to train, and then UKZN was also there with us. What we've done to mitigate in the area of internet connectivity is we have 67 routers as a province, as a directorate, teacher development, together with data cards, and so we're able to distribute those to the districts who are conducting.
The Northern Cape province emphasized the need for learner participation and establishing coding and robotics clubs.
It's important that we also provide learner support through participation in competition. I think competitions is like, we know how our learners are. You expose them to something, you need to give them an opportunity to demonstrate their skills. So we're working with Solplaiki to start these coding clubs, and we said we are going to copy the model of the science clubs to start these coding clubs, because we don't just want to preach, let's start coding clubs, but there's no structure in terms of how these coding clubs are structured and who is responsible. We want teachers to commit to say, we know at this particular school, Ms. Nkefa is driving the coding and robotics. When you get to another school, you know that the principal there is very active and supportive in terms of coding and robotics. So the establishment of coding clubs should not be just a thumbs up, but it should be something that we agree, we enter into a contract. Because with the PLC, today you've got a PLC, tomorrow you don't. So we need to commit them to establish and also support those coding clubs, involving other stakeholders to also carry on with the support.
The DBE's Mathematics, Science and Technology team also visited the Friede Kloof Primary School in the Western Cape Province for a coding and robotics demonstration. One of the teachers at the school explained how they transformed the classes to feature coding and robotics.
For the foundation phase, it was the art class. We decided that the art class was quite big. We spoke to the teacher, she didn't need all the space, so we divided the classroom with a drywall, and that is how we made the foundation phase co-laboratory. So the class is also divided. Those that came to visit me would have seen that it has a robotics and a coding side as well as a maker space, but we also chop and change, so it is never the same when the children get there. Okay. Then the InterSync laboratory, it was actually the media center, and we decided that we didn't have a lot of things at that stage to put in that room, so we decided that we can move the books. We moved it to the the aftercare room, so the children can still use that as the library. They can use it after school as well, which is actually beneficial. And then we put in a drywall to split the room, and that is what you see at the moment, the coding and the robotics side, and then more of the computer hub. We got the wallpaper in our rooms, as you would have seen, and that is to create some excitement. As soon as the children walk in and they see that, they feel like they have already created something amazing. It just gives that excitement, that wow factor, that atmosphere of thinking outside the box. And then we have a big focus on movable and standing desks. Children must be able to stand and work, move around and work. They mustn't just sit on one place and do one type of thing, because there's a lot of different learning types. And in this class, we can focus on all of that to give everyone an experience of success. Right.
The Eastern Cape Education Department is mourning the death of a grade 11 learner after the driver of the scholar transport lost control of the vehicle. The transport was carrying learners from Luditi Senior Secondary School in the Alfred Nzo district. 18 learners sustained injuries. They were transported to the nearest hospital and later discharged. Provincial Education MEC Fundile Kade visited the family to send his condolences and offer assistance. He added that such incidents continue to raise the issue of the urgency to build hospitals at some schools for learners.
It has that element of reinforcing the urgency of the hostels, building of the hostels. But of course, we needed to be a bit aware into ngamanye amaxesha there are things that are unavoidable, because in life you learn that lento ucinga bafanba is solution is a problem to someone, and what becomes a problem to someone is a solution to someone. For example, ngobe silapha ngaphakathi, I was saying, for example, there are so many people that are deceased by water, helpful water as it is, but there are so many people that have been buried because of water. But you can't say you can't drink water, because umlambo mkena abantu basweleka. So I'm saying that's how life is. You strike a balance on how to deal with these matters as they unfold. But of course, I can safely say so that there is a need of minimizing the impact of traveling from one area to another. But it's a long-term plan, that one. In the main, we needed to just strengthen up the transport system and also the road network system that we have in the province.
Meanwhile, in Gauteng, the Education Department has expressed sadness following the death of a learner from Dinukaneng Secondary School in Vanderbijl Park. It's understood the incident took place outside the hostel pickup point in Sebokeng. The learners were reportedly hit by a scholar transport bus at the pickup point while attempting to board the transport to get to school. 3 learners had to be hospitalized due to the severity of their injuries, while 4 others had minor injuries.
We have already dispatched our psychosocial unit team to the school to provide necessary support, and the MEC has already conveyed his condolences to the family and the school community at large, and those that are still recovering at hospital, wish them a speedy recovery.
When we return, we hear more about the Second Chance program and how it is now assisting people living with disabilities. The Basic Education Department's Second Chance program aims to provide support to learners who have not been able to meet the requirements of the National Senior Certificate or the Extended Senior Certificate. The program was launched in 2016 and supports anyone of any age who wants to achieve or improve a matric qualification subject by subject and on a part-time basis. There are no costs involved. One of the ways this program supports part-time matric candidates is through face-to-face classes facilitated by qualified teachers at selected schools and community centers. The Philadelphia Secondary School for Learners with Special Educational Needs hosted a study camp for a group of blind candidates in preparation for the upcoming National Senior Certificate Examinations. Those involved say this is a step in the right direction for people living with disabilities.
I am here to coordinate the program. It has been a long journey ever since we started with this program. I did all the recruitment in Gauteng, and I was working very close with the Department of Basic Education to can assist me to start this program to can start today.
The center manager says the support from the DBE will go a long way for those who were in attendance.
We will have motivational talks from National Council because these are the learners that have not completed their matric in some years. I had one of the students saying that the last time he was in class, it was in 2005. So these learners have been given a chance to come back and complete their matric. So we have hosted them in the school so that we can get it over and done with, so that at the end of the day, they can also have a matric certificate for themselves.
The Deputy Director for the program explains what took place during the camp.
I am here to pilot the very first camp in Gauteng. We have about 20 blind learners, blind, partially sighted, and physically challenged learners who are here to attend the camp. What is the purpose of the camp? The purpose of the camp is for the learner. We are here to offer academic support to the learners. Academic support in the form of teaching and learning. We have recruited a number of learners. We've recruited a number of educators in different subjects: history, maths literacy, economics, business studies, tourism, English first language, English second language. So all the learners who are here at the camp are here to receive tuition.
That's how we end this bulletin this week on Channel 122 on OpenView and on YouTube. Before we go, the matric class of 2022 has resumed their prelim exams. We wish all grade 12 learners the best. Remember to study as much as possible, but also take breaks in between. To parents, let's support these learners as they hit the final stretch of their basic education. Thank you for watching.